What is up, everybody? Happy New Year's, and I hope everybody had a fun and safe New Year's Eve. Post something in the comments below. Tell me what you did on New Year's Eve because I would love to hear about it. Or you can go to any one of my social media accounts here, post what you did on New Year's Eve. I'll try to respond to them. But I would love reading them because it's good to see what people do. Did you have a chill night? Did you go crazy? Is it regretful? Give us the juicy stories. That's what people want to read, right? No, I'm just, but my night was very chill, but a lot of fun. It was probably the first night since I can remember where I didn't have to get involved in anything that ruined my night, and that was the best possible way I can ring in the new year. Is just having a fun, chill night. I met a lot of great people, and was sweating out bourbon for like 2 days straight. So apparently, I am too old for this shit. So although it was a good night, can't handle it anymore. Apparently, so but I am truly grateful for that. So again, let me know what you did on New Year's Eve. I'd love to hear about it. So the reason why I wanted to do this video is, for one, channel's going in a new direction. It took me like 2 hours to even remember the settings, which tells me it's been way too long since I've done a video. I'm going to start deleting all the reaction videos off my channel because I'm not doing that. For one, it was really fucking with my head. The shit I was seeing I felt was very disturbing. For two, you know, I honestly I don't give a fuck how people want to live their life. And I feel like people who do reaction videos off other people, especially in a negative connotation, all they're doing is, for one, they're making money off somebody else. For two, they are just promoting these other people. So these other people that they're supposedly against and they want to put a stop to, they're ultimately promoting them and making them more money. And I don't want to be involved in that anymore. And all I initially did to begin with is I wanted to raise awareness about a lot of things that were going on, especially with mental health, because that's a big thing and that's still something this channel is going to very much cover. And I thought I was exposing things that were wrong, and I still stand by everything I said in those videos. But when it comes to the kids stuff, hey, parents are going to raise their kids how they want to raise their kids. Unfortunately, we as humans, we tend to be a reactionary race. Like, we never think about the consequences ahead of time. We always react to the results of what we did initially, right? That's the same with government. That's just how we tend to be. Like, most of us tend not to think of, well, if we do this or if we raise our kids like this might happen, right? Instead, they just go to fucking up our kids permanently for life. And now, when shit hits the fan 10 years from now, everyone's going to react to it. And it's going to be like this state of emergency, right? And I feel like until we learn our lessons, we're never going to change. So, as sad as it is, and as bad as I feel for a lot of people out there, especially those who are having severe mental health issues because of what's being done, or those who actually feel like they are victims when they're really not, again, I guess we'll just deal with it 5 years from now when shit hits the fan, right? And I'm going to start having guests. So it's not just going to be a channel of me talking into the camera, because that is not fun for me. And there's a lot of people I would love to have on here and a lot of interesting topics that I would like to cover, and that I extend the invite out to anybody. If anybody wants to be on my podcast, we could talk about whatever. We could talk about politics. We could talk about the pronoun thing. We could talk about anything going on. Mindfulness, whatever you want to talk about. I am all game. You want to promote your stuff on here, I'll have you on. Just give me a heads up so I can kind of research whatever it is you're wanting to promote to make sure it kind of fits my values. And I could get my questions down if I don't understand what it is. But by all means, reach out to me, social media, or you can comment on here. I'll reach out to you. But I would love to have people on. I especially want to have somebody on who's pro-Palestine during this whole thing. I've reached out to so many people who are posting pro-Palestinian things because I want to have them on. I want to ask a lot of questions, and everybody has refused to come on. So if you are pro-Palestine, I would love to have you on here because I have a ton of questions, no judgment. I would love to have you on because I'm trying to understand that perspective, and I don't. So, anyways, if you want to be on the channel, reach out to me. If you want to promote your stuff, I will gladly offer up my channel. Just give me a heads up so I can research whatever it is you're promoting and your product. And by all means, let's have the conversation. The other reason why I wanted to do this video is because, again, I think I had a terrible 2020, worst year of my life. I will repeat that. I probably repeated that a million. I probably repeated it a million times in this video. And I know a lot of people who are close to me, they will jump right on board with me. And what I've realized in my 2023 is this year has to be better. And I was texting a friend 2 nights ago, and she had mentioned what her New Year's goal was this year, and it was I won't I'll slaughter this quote, but she texted something in the terms of this year she's going to focus on herself. Everything else is just extra and will come with time, or something along those lines. And I read that quote, and I had the biggest smile on my face because I'm going into this year focusing on me because I never do that. I always get stuck in somebody else's mess. And I'm going to do another video on that because explaining where I learned my life's most important lesson, I think, in the last month. And I'll cover that in another video because I'm actually kind of disgusted with myself. It took me like 30 something years to even learn this lesson, but it finally all hit me. So what I think it's important, if you are like me and you had a terrible, terrible year last year, I think for one, if there's anything that you have done where you feel like you made mistakes, you got to forgive yourself. View them as lessons. If it's in a relationship, you know, learn from your mistakes, and know that moving forward, you are not going to make these mistakes. But forgive yourself for it. Stop dwelling on all the bad things that have happened to you last year. That is another huge aspect of it. We as human beings tend to have a really bad stint of events happen, when it rains, it pours type thing, and we dwell on it and we dwell on it and we never move forward from it, which ultimately causes us to just spin in circles and sit in our own sorrow. And I'll give you some examples of how I am trying to view last year with my situation. So last year I hit a little bit of a financial snag. I lost my relationship of 4 years. That ended, well, it really ended like May of last year, but that dragged out till fucking October. And that was chaos and turmoil. And, I also was dealing with a friend who was going through addiction problems. And, this friend literally almost died on my couch twice from overdose. And I didn't even realize it was happening to that extent. And the cherry on top is my grandmother passed away, and I was very close. She passed away last month. I was very close to my grandparents, and that was actually my last surviving grandparent, and she passed away. So that was kind of like the cherry on top of the year, for the year, right? Like the last possible worst thing that could happen to me. But when I look back at my 2023, there's so much I could be grateful for, and I think it just got clouded in all the bad things that were happening. Like I did a lot of posts that freaked the fuck out of people. I know people were reaching out to me. I had a friend even pop over to my place because I went dark. And one of my things that I have to work on is controlling my emotions. And I think I've done a better job since that post because of when I posted it. I mean, there was a fucking reaction. I've never had my phone blow up with people concerned. I had people reaching out to me that I haven't talked to in like 30 years. And those people were reaching out. And, I even had a buddy that I haven't talked to in like 17 years. He called me, the second that post happened. And I realized that was very emotion based. At that time, I was being mind fucked completely. And I was in a bad, bad spot. And somebody just took my weaknesses and my weak points and fucking pressure pointed the shit out of it, basically. And it just drove me to a point of kind of like this, right, just a rock bottom. I hit my rock bottom in 2020, right? So, as an example of not dwelling on anything and things that I could truly be grateful for. So, for my financial hiccup, when I reflect back on that, I know all the mistakes I made. I know where I went wrong, where I miscalculated, how I got too aggressive, where I went too aggressive, and what I did wrong. And I wrote all this shit down. And I actually learned from it. I'm learning more about market trends. I'm learning more about, what I was doing in that business and how the trends are going now. And I'm studying it up on it more. I know if I go back to it, I'm not going to make these same mistakes again. I'm going to have a better plan written out. I didn't have a really good plan. It was kind of a shoot from the hip type situation. I needed to have a better picture of where I wanted this channel to go and where I wanted my business to go because I didn't have that. I was kind of just shooting from the hip on everything. And I know that's where I messed up. So as opposed to dwelling on those situations, I could sit back and be like, well, no, I learned all this. So now when I do it again, I know it's not going to happen. In fact, it's probably going to be much more profitable and much better for me long term, where I was more shooting for short term kind of gratification. When it comes to the relationship, I fucked up really, really bad. And ultimately, that's what I think led to the end of the relationship. It kind of started the domino. And on top of that, I was taking an antidepressant medication that I was having a terrible reaction. And that ultimately caused me to make terrible judgment calls, which I owned up to. And I don't blame the medication. I blame myself for not realizing I was acting in certain ways since I was taking the medication. I didn't notice the change in my behavior. I didn't notice I was being distant and cutting people off and being lethargic and lazy and just not giving a shit about anything. And I very much fucked up. But I also very much forgave myself for it because at the same time, emotionally, that same person was really fucking with my head and you know wasn't exactly a saint in the situation either. But when I reflect back on the relationship, I'm actually grateful that it ended because for one, I realized that a lot of things that happened in that relationship were common habits with the other person. And I don't think I think reflecting back, I don't think I would ever get back in a relationship with that again. Which causes me to know more of what I want in a relationship, how I want that other person's situation to be, um, how I want them kind of react to things, how I want them to communicate. Like this person didn't have they had a very big issue communicating when things were going bad. They kind of just all of a sudden shot from the hip and just went off, right? So I now see a better vision of what I want in a relationship moving forward, which is very I think very important for anybody. A lot of people had relationships in 2020. This video's already going on way longer, too, so I'll try to wrap it up here. And then when it comes to the relationship, the fact that that relationship ended, the reason why another reason why I'm very grateful for that is because of my freedom that was gained from the end of that relationship. I met so many amazing, inspiring people this year. I've probably met more people in the last 8 months than I have in the last 10 years. And a lot of these people truly inspired me. I met amazing musicians. Uh, I got to see a ton of bands play. I got to see Sebastian Bach play. How fucking cool is that, right? And Quiet Riot. Like I got to see all these concerts. I got to just do whatever the hell I want. I got to spend a lot more time with my friends, and I met so many new friends. I am truly grateful for that. And if I didn't have my freedom for that year, I would have never met all these amazing people that I still talk to, and I hope I talk to for a long time. Like I'm truly blessed for that. So there's so much I think we can all be grateful for, and it just our judgment gets clouded by all the bad things that have happened. But I think again, going into the new year, from one, just to quote my friend the other day, focus on yourself. And I know it's hard when you have families and children and people you have to provide for, but you can't lose focus on yourself either. You that is where I've gone wrong so many times in my life. I lose focus on myself and I focus so much more on other people that I end up putting myself in bad situations. I think moving forward, if you focus on yourself, for one, you will have a great 2024, but you will also have a great 2025, 2027, 2032. You will have a great future ahead of you if you don't lose sight of that. Whatever happened in 2023, it's over now. Don't dwell on it. Move forward from it. You have to move forward from it. If there's things you did that were negative or things you did that resulted in bad things, forgive yourself for it. Learn your lessons for what you did and move forward from it. And don't repeat the behavior or the things that you've done. Learn from it, grow from it, be a better person. And I think lastly, I think going into the new year, we all have to be better people. I got so wrapped up in the rabbit hole and with the reaction videos, I think I was creating almost like this, like I was despising people. And I'm not a judgmental person yet. Doing reaction videos for me, I was like judging something. And in fact, we shouldn't be engrossed in other people's lives. So they're gonna live their lives however they want to fucking live it. But it is important to live your life the way you want to live it. And if you're like me and you lost everything you had last year, because I sure as hell did, that just means now your plate is empty and all you have is everything you ever wanted. So go out and get it. And like I said, don't dwell on anything that happened last year. Move forward from it. So to that, cheers everybody. I hope everybody has a great 2024. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of new things coming from this channel. I got a couple other projects that I'm hoping to get done by spring. That's probably gonna shock a lot of people. So yeah, stay tuned. And again, if you want to be on the podcast, and I will discuss literally any issue you want. I don't care. I just would need a heads up so I can kind of read up if it's something I'm not familiar with. By all means, reach out to me. I don't care what you want to talk about. I would just love to have people on, and I don't really need to try to go out and seek out popular people to have interesting podcasts. I think I've had so many amazing, entertaining conversations with so many people that I've met because of my freedom. That I think it would be more entertaining just to shoot the shit with somebody on here and see where it goes. So everybody have a great new year. Make sure you like and subscribe. Here's the social medias that took me 2 hours to find my passwords and reactivate. So by all means, go over there and subscribe to the channel, or else I just wasted my fucking time. So yeah, you'll be hearing from me. I'm out. Peace.